Hey, you guys. It's another
Hey, what's
night.
good?
It's a fun night. Welcome to Winding Down Late Night Conversation. LA Keys is out of the building for a minute. She is taking care of her kids, and that is great. You know, us as mothers, we have to take care of our children, but we got to keep the show rolling. So, tonight we have an amazing guest. His name is Michael Edwards. He's an actor and a writer and a motivational speaker, and he's so much more. But I'm gonna let him tell you guys that story. But we're gonna do it like we do it here on Late Night Conversation, Winding Down. I am Nicole, CEO and founder of Exquisite PR Firm. And to the left of me, I have
Michael Edwards, CEO and founder of Mike's Movers, and I'm also an actor, model, motivational speaker, and screenwriter. And to the left of me is
None other than King Jacob, Jacob W. Johnson second, music executive, community activist, the COO of Exquisite PR Firm, and I am also a youth mentor. So we're gonna get it popping, late night conversations
yeah.
on the Winding Down podcast, and we're gonna get right into the journey of Michael Edwards.
absolutely. So, Michael, I heard you had a journey. I don't know what the journey is. I heard a little bit about it. But that's not for me to tell. Nobody can tell your testimony. You can only tell your own testimony, your triumphs, and everything else. So we're gonna let you go ahead and take the floor. So let us know where you want to start at. What's going on with you?
All right. Well, why not take it from the beginning? Once again, I'm Michael Edwards. Went into foster care when I was 2 months old. Um, Unfortunately, I grew up, um, abused mentally, physically, and sexually. But it has made me stronger amongst other obstacles like homelessness, neglect. Um, yeah, I mean, pretty much the whole nine. But it's been quite a journey. I've been in over 6 foster homes, over 10 group homes. I've been to over 12 different schools throughout my junior high portion of education. And I graduated from Pearl River Central High School, class of '09, Blue Devils, that's us, baby. I also went to Pearl River Community College after on full scholarship for show choir, basketball, and football. I used to could sing. I used to sing. Not too much anymore. But backtracking past that, well before that, I grew that passion from being in foster care. One of the biggest obstacles that I had was pretty much being locked up. And I'm gonna specify that, like being locked up in my room due to me not being the foster parent's biological child. I wasn't always treated equally as their biological kids. So I would get, the hand-me-downs, and once the abuse started, because when it comes to the system, every child gets labeled in the system of foster care. You get labeled. Something is going to be wrong with you, even if nothing's wrong with you. That's their way of, I guess, pushing the narrative of getting you into a home. Because the way I saw it was, and the way I found out that it happened is the more problems the kid has, the more money the system will pay the state to, take that child in. But long story short, that was one of the biggest reasonings for me having so many foster homes and group homes, because of the label and me growing into that label. I became a puppet of the system. And I mean, I'm older now, so I realized that, but then I didn't. I took everything and anything that they threw at me, labeled me as, and I ran with it. And for the longest growing up, I used it as a crutch, as you can say. But in the long run, I found out that it didn't help any, and it didn't make anything better. It didn't open up any doors. It didn't do any of that, but make the situation worse. But of course, me being young and naive, I didn't see that at the time. But the abuse, it made me strong. I can honestly say it made me strong. I didn't understand it then, and I mean, I still to this day don't agree with how it went. But as far as what it did to me mentally, it broke me down physically then, but it made me stronger emotionally. For the simple fact, I knew if I can withstand this, if God allowed me to withstand this, then you know, sky's the limit. And I feel like I'm unbreakable. But I was being unbreakable, but being broken at the same time. If you understand what I'm saying, it's it's kind of confusing, but I'm trying to figure out a way to put it. I got stronger through the abuse, but mentally it kind of messed me up a little bit. Like I knew right from wrong, but my because became the overall equation. I did this. I wanted to do this because I'm bipolar, because that's what they told me. I did this because I got depression. I didn't do my homework because so it became a crutch until I'm not gonna lie. One of my foster homes, they kept me in church, and I'll never forget it. I was about 8 years old, and this lady in Sunday school, she told me, because of the fact, for some reason, whenever they'll read a scripture out the Bible, they expect the kids to tell them what it means. Pretty much, they'll tell the kid version, and I was always the type of kid that if you read a paragraph or anything to me, I was able to quickly pick it up and reiterate it back to you in my own words. So therefore, it came easy to me. And when she pulled me aside, not knowing what was going on in my foster home, she told me that I was meant to be, a prophet, meant to be someone big, and millions of people would follow me one day. But I'm looking at it like, okay, you saying this, but I don't even know if I'm gonna get beat when I get home. So it's like it went in one end out the other, but it stuck with me because I never forgot that lady. I never forgot her. And I never forgot what she told me. And it's like the more I get older, the more it makes sense to me because I have lived through it, and I have, what I'm saying, touched a lot of people just like a lot of people touched me. So long story short, going through foster care, this was the kicker. I'm gonna give you the kicker. They throw a party, like this major party. I'm talking like a block party, big old building, candy, cake, anything a kid would desire, they had there. Outside, all the recreation you could think of: basketball, volleyball, soccer, football, everything. A big swimming pool, and that's how the parents look to pretty much kind of see who they would be interested in taking home. I just so happened to be that black kid running to every single thing that they had going. So that's how it started off, with me getting so many foster homes looking at me and me bouncing around to so many foster homes. Because I had issues, I never stuck to any just one. AKA my bipolarness, my anger issues, my depression. The parents didn't understand how to deal with me with my depression when I'll be excited one minute and then the next minute I don't want to talk. I really don't want to be bothered. And when they ask me what's wrong, it's like all I can say is I don't know. I really didn't know why I felt that way. I just knew that's how I felt at that moment. And they didn't understand it. Well, you were just happy a few minutes ago. Now it's like you don't want to be bothered, and that caused a lot of space and like issues with the parents, because by them not understanding it enraged them instead of by them not knowing how to deal with it. And by me being a child, it didn't make make it any better for me by them being enraged. It just made me being raised even more. And they called me Rabbit. So the minute something bad would happen in one of the foster homes, pew, I was gone. I was gone. And that led to the me always disappearing out of homes. Like if I felt like I wasn't being treated fairly or anything like that, I would just run. I didn't mind sleeping in the woods. I didn't mind sleeping in the back of people's truck and have to, jump out wee hours of the morning before they went to work. And then it was times where I just didn't have a home to go to. The state didn't have a home to put me in. So when they would put me in these group homes, most of those kids were in there because they were just bad. They had families. I was one of the few in 80% of the group homes that I went to that was in there mainly because I had no one to claim me. Like, I'm sorry, give me a minute. Like, could you imagine, what I'm saying, going to a new school almost every month and have to explain to other kids and have hundreds of other kids asking you, why you calling that white man daddy? Why you calling that white woman mama? You know what I'm saying? And all I can say is, I don't know. All I know is that's the people who have me right now. And the feeling of not knowing how long you're going to be there and how you're going to be treated there, and not knowing if they go come get me in the middle of the night, which has happened many of times, to go to an unknown building full of unknown people. It's a scary feeling. And after doing it for so many years, getting taken out of school to go to psychiatrists and therapists, getting picked up in them ugly station wagons every single Friday and get asked the same questions. Well, how do you feel? Well, how do you think I feel? If you making me feel like I should feel a certain way. So it's like, it was very frustrating, rage building, confusion, not wanted feeling to I have nobody. That was the ending result. I see all my friends with families. Can't wait till that last school bell ring to go home to their family, to have a meal, to have a change of clothes, to take a bath, to laugh and tell their parents what happened that day. I'm the only kid in class waiting for it not to rain. I didn't want it to rain because I didn't know where I was going to go. I didn't know if I was going to eat. I didn't know where I was going to sleep. It was a long process, and as far as the being stable situation and just getting my mind stable to the point to where I can be stationary and focus. Because if I wasn't just being abused or neglected, it was me running away because of the fact I felt like the odd piece of the puzzle. I felt like I didn't belong. And I feel like no child should have to go through that. But long story short, what I'm saying, that was one of the major keys that made me stronger. Outside of the abuse, me feeling like I had no one except for my sister for the first 3 years of foster care until they broke us up because they said I had anger issues. She was the only one I knew. So around that time, all I knew was nobody go tell my sister anything. Nobody go touch her. Nobody go look at her crazy. So I was always fighting. And I believe that's where they came up with he has anger issues. But in all reality, it was just me protecting the only family that I knew. She was the only one who went into foster care with me as like a team. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom, come to find out, she had 19 children. And my sister was the only one I really knew. I knew my twin brothers, but they left as soon as we went into foster care. They went into another foster family. So we only went on visiting trips with them for like the first year until they stopped that. And then it was no more communication from my little brothers. So that part of my family was just gone. So it was just me and my sister for like the first 3, 4 years. And then a nice family took her in after the WB-38 commercial. Rewind back to that. I was on Oprah when I was 6 for the adoption episode, orphanage as they used to say, episode, and then I was on WB-38 when they had the little frog with the tuxedo and the hat doing a little jig. It was me, my sister, a little Asian girl, and a white boy, and it was like this. I think he was Indian. Pretty much, it was different races of kids,
What year was
and
that?
we all had something different in our hand. You know what I'm saying? As far as like what we like. So I had a basketball, my sister had a baby doll, all that good stuff. But long story short, that was one of the ways, of putting it out there that hey, there's orphans that needs homes. You know what I'm saying? So me, I just knew what they told me in the beginning. I was getting toys afterwards. So me not really thinking, hey, I'm really being advertised
Hmm.
for somebody to want me.
Hmm.
Why is that fair? Like, how is that? Why? And all I ever said that my entire life, all night crying, trying to think of how my mom smelled, talk, sound, look,
Wow.
everything. I knew nothing. You know what I'm saying? And it was just it was lonesome. I mean, I really don't know any other way to put it, but knowing what I know now makes me realize that the saying everything happens for a reason is so true. Everything happens for a reason. It was a reason I didn't grow up with my family. It was a reason I went through everything I went through. Was it fair? No, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? But I look at it as that was my path. That was the roads because of the hard headedness and the you know what I'm saying, all the problems that I had with all of that going on. I felt like that was God pretty much showing me that's what it took to make me the strong individual that I am today. You know what I'm saying? Seeing different aspects in my family and different things like with people that I used to communicate with, affiliate with, hang out with, chill with. Like it pretty much it evolved into me lowering my circle, making my circle smaller because I see where it's not all worth it. But the anger, the moving nonstop, the feeling like I had no one, the being told over and over that I had no family. That's why, the only things that I knew of my family was bits and specks, and they were all negative. Oh, see, you always got anger issues, but that's why your people don't want you now. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, really? Is that really why they didn't want me? Because I have anger issues? Well, I mean, it had to come from somewhere, right? I wasn't just born like this. You can't honestly make me believe that I was just born like this. But being told by psychiatrists over and over, therapists over and over that I have this wrong with me and I don't act right because of this, or I don't do this right because of this. I literally picked up not being able to eat because of abuse and foster care. I would be so scared to eat because of my first couple foster families, and I'm not saying that they know who they are, which I have found them maybe 6 years ago and told, I had to tell them, I mean, I forgive you because they were still eating me up, even as a grown man. And that was way when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? That I had to just let it go. But that's what made me have to go through that process. That's what made me become a runner every time instead of standing up to my problems and facing it and trying to find a solution. That's what made me not know how to work with people in a group. That's what made me hate authority figures and people in control. You know what I'm saying? Because of that, because of all those reasons. But I can honestly say I've tried it my way every single time to try to get out of it. And every single time I've hit a brick wall. So after hitting a brick wall for so long, I don't care how young you are, eventually you going back up and say, okay, let me try to go a different way. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to that saying, even the bad dog has a good day. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's like I managed to do all that by the time I make it to high school. That's when I feel like God started showing me his favor. By me making it through the earlier years, like the way I had to, I felt like that was God carrying me because I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna tell you a story, and it's up to y'all to believe it or not. And this is like it's giving me chills. But I was around 5, 6 years old. I had a problem. I had a problem with wetting the bed because of the fact I was scared of the dark and I was being abused at the same time. So by me being afraid of being abused, I was scared to go to the bathroom because of the type of parents that I had. Whatever you did that originated them to get angry, every time they think of it, I got beat, I got something thrown at me, I got slung, I got picked up by my throat, like and thrown across the room. Like it was whatever you could think of, it happened. You know what I'm saying? But they had a habit of waking us up every night around 11:30 midnight. All six of the foster kids to go bathroom. Boys was boys, so all go together. Girls, of course, individually. And
Mhm.
it was this one time, my foster brother, I actually faked like I had to use because I didn't have to use. I was that terrified, you know what I'm saying, to use the bathroom while they was watching. I just acted like I went, but I couldn't go. My body would not go. So this particular incident, I went to use the bathroom. My foster brother was standing next to me while he was using it. You know how you do when you raise the toilet up or whatever like that. But he didn't raise the toilet up. By me not using it, I didn't think to raise it up. I was just like, okay, hurry up so we could go back to bed. You know what I'm saying? Why did he hit the toilet seat? I don't know. But by them having him longer and I was addition to the family, I got the blame for it. You know what I'm saying? And when I got the blame for it, meaning I'm the one who got beat for it and then got tortured for it. So once everybody else went back to bed, I got beat all upside my head and my back, and my foster parents poured bleach, ammonia, pine syrup, and fabuloso on the floor, and they had the wooden doors. You gotta keep in mind this is early '90s. I'm still young. The wooden doors, and it scraped the floor. So when you closed it, it was nothing. It was no gaps, no well. Like how it opened without like it was like jammed shut, that like glued tight. So when they closed that door, like, and the next time they opened it, I was on the floor choking on my own vomit because of the chemicals that was mixed and just poured on the floor. And they tossed me a toothbrush and told me when they come back, it better be spotless. Well, when they came back, I was passed out on the floor choking on my own vomit. And they rushed me to the hospital. Report said later, as once I finally got out, my social worker wound up telling me about that incident. That's the only reason I know all the details about it. They told the doctors that I had snuck out my room that night and got into the chemical closet thinking that it was punch and stuff. I guess like how I would think that was punched by drinking it. I don't know. But that was the case. And somehow they believed it because nothing ever happened. Nothing. Nothing
Wow.
happened until I went to school. And around that time, boys, like I said, boys could be boys. Around that time when it was that PE, I went to use the bathroom, and my best friend David, we was playing 1-on-1. So when I went to the bathroom, he went to the bathroom, and they had the long urinals where all the boys could use it at the same time or whatever like that. So boom, I pulled my pants down and raised my shirt up and like clenched it with my arms to use the bathroom or whatever like that. I was finished, so right before my shirt could drop, my friend saw all the scars and stuff on my back. Like I had, who was it? Not Antoine Fisher. Off of Glory. I had Denzel had the marks on his back after they whipped him. Pretty much that's how my back was. And my best friend David Washington, I'll never forget his name because it's because of him it all started, and that's what eventually helped me get out of this home. But before I got out, he saw it, asked me what was wrong. I hurry up, dropped my shirt, pulled my pants up, took off out the bathroom, screamed nothing, took off out the bathroom. He ran up to me, called me, and said, "I'm going to tell a teacher that you hurt, you got bobos." And I'm like, please don't. Begging them. I'm talking begging them, don't. Like he didn't understand what was going to happen to me when I got home if that got to the teacher and it got back to my foster parents. So I begged him not to. But kids go be kids. Went to the teacher. Nothing happened entire time at PE. Soon as after lunch was finished and we got back to class, teacher called me to step outside. I walked out, saw the principal and the teacher, turn around, looked at David, and he just dropped his head. And I was like, oh my God, I'm dead. I'm dead. The teacher told me, the teacher told me, you're not in trouble. We just need to figure something out. Looked at the principal. Principal tells me, turn around and raise my shirt up. And that's how I knew exactly where it was going. I told them no, started crying. They said, you're not in trouble. Please, we just need to see. I did it. They said, okay. And once they said okay, and they got in a little group to talk about it, whatever, I dropped to my knees and begged them, please, whatever you do, just don't call my parents. Please don't call my parents. Please, y'all won't see me no more. Please call my parents. You know what I'm saying? And then that day, that entire day went by good, but you have no idea the amount of fear that was in me that rest of the day thinking that they were going to call my parents. So the entire day went by, regular fine, get home, scared out my drawers. I'm talking, I'm scared. Get inside, I'm looking around, everything normal. So I'm like, okay, good. They didn't call. So boom, that day went by, nothing happened. So, thanking the Lord, thank you. You let this go away. You know what I'm saying? You saved me. Little behold, not even 15 minutes after breakfast, called me to the office. It was a white woman and two white men standing there in the principal's office. I walk in with the teacher. They said, can you raise your how you doing? They introduced themselves. Can you raise your shirt up for us and turn around, please? And boom, waterworks coming. Not this again. I'm thinking it's over. But in reality, it was just beginning. So I showed them, did the same thing, begged them not to call my parents. They said, you're not in trouble. We're going to make sure you're okay. I said, if you call them, please have somewhere else for me to go. Do not let me go back to that house if you call them and mention what you saw or what I showed you, because then they go think I told y'all, and then I'm going to get in trouble. They promised and swore up and down that they would. But little did I know that this was the Child Protective Services. I didn't know this at the time. I just knew these was people came to the school to see my back. And they said that they was going to protect me and get me out that situation. So I had a sigh of relief, like, okay, good. They go take me out this home. But by my sister still being there, she wasn't getting the abuse like I was, because every time they would try to hit her, I would jump in the way. So it was always me getting it. So I didn't want them to leave her there by herself. But long story short, they wound up coming to the house a day later. They did call, but they didn't tell them to the extent of why they was calling. They just said that they need to schedule a meeting with the parents or whatever like that. And just from them calling, I got my back towed off. Do you hear me? I'm talking curtain rides, 6x4 with a bent. Like whatever they could grab, that's what you got beat with at the time. You know what I'm saying? I don't like a lot of people just not realizing it because I'm not ashamed of it anymore because I feel like I'm grown. It's my life. It is what it is. It happened. But
were these women or
I
men
was put,
that were doing this to you?
I'm sorry.
Were these women or was this a man and woman? Was this a father and a mother?
It was a father and a mother, but it was mostly the mother. The father was he was always gone. So when he was in the equation during it, he would be the cheerleader of the equation, I would say. She would be doing all the hands on, and he'll just be there to make sure I didn't wild out and like, overpower or whatever like that. Pretty much to make sure I stood there and just took it. But like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't let people see, you know what I'm saying, like see the real reason for this, for nothing. Like a lot of people ask but don't know. But that was this is one of the few lifelong marks that I have to live with until the day I die. Like it's not going anywhere. I had to have stitches on my lip because they threw an iron at me. Literally, while I was piping hot, an iron. Because of the simple fact I made a C on my report card. A C. And this is an everyday reminder of that C. I have a knot. You can't really see it because I didn't cut my hair too short when I cut it yesterday. But I have a knot. At the time, it was the size of a tennis ball on the back of my head, where a part of my head had been, I don't remember the incident of exactly what happened. All I know it was because of some form of abuse, but I had what felt like a honeycomb, a beehive in the back of my head. And for the longest, I had a big, it looked like a wad of toilet paper. But after they did the surgery, I had like a big giant wad on the back of my head until it healed. I had to go to school with a white strip running around my lip, you know what I'm saying, because of the stitches. And they called me the milkman. So I was always made fun of. But that's salt compared to the humiliation that came with this family.
Okay, 1 second. We have some predominant people here. We have Mrs. Cheryl Dunlap, and she is very important, a very, very important person. And she said she would like to just say she's sorry for your experience, and she thanks you for sharing your experience. Jacob, what can we do to get these messages rolled up here so that he can speak to the audience? There's an audience here.
You should be able to click on the messages and they should be able to come on the screen. You just tap on the messages and they should be able to come on the screen.
Okay.
Comments at the top.
Yeah, Nicole.
Yeah, I'm
okay.
Already. I'm looking at them.
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to see how I could look at them and still see the screen.
So no, Nicole, I'm talking to you. You should be able in the comment. Okay. All right.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let's see here.
So Mike, that did. So you've been dealing with depression, anxiety, not only from you never seen your mother or your father. That's one, but also from being in the system into foster care and people are just abusing you, beating you, and We haven't even got into the sexual molesting yet. We're gonna get into that a little later. But as far as the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, and the physical abuse, and so when you was growing up, man, what was your thought process like? As far as because me and you talked about a lot of stuff over the phone, and we've been back and forth with your journey for a long time now, going on 3 years now. So with that being said, man, I just want to know, just for any other child that's going through out there, that's in foster care, that's in a group home, that's going through, the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, as well as the physical abuse, what would you tell them, like, to really encourage them? Because you're definitely a living testimony, because you stand tall, you stand Brody, and you're definitely a blessing.
Thank you. I appreciate that. The biggest and main thing that I would say to any and every child that's even going through a grain of salt that's in foster care that I had to endure. Speak up, literally, all caps. Don't wait. I know I didn't do it, you know what I'm saying, right away, and I had to pay for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I let fear overcome me. Whatever obstacle you going through, find the closest adult that you feel comfortable and safe talking to and speak up, please. If you don't, nobody will ever know. I thought I was protecting myself by not saying nothing because I didn't want to get in trouble and I didn't want the abuse to continue. So I kept my mouth shut. I would take the abuse. I would take the neglect. I would go weeks. I'm talking weeks without eating. That's not healthy. Now to this day, I can literally go days without eating because my body is so immune to it. Now I fight myself just to eat normal meals like everybody else. I might eat once a day. Literally. I go all day without eating and eat one meal at night. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. Speak up.
Okay. And Cheryl also said, have you received any counseling?
The only counseling I've ever had was the counseling that was provided for me in foster care. It's for since I was 16, and once I got adopted, all arms from the system were literally cut off. Once you're adopted, they give no more legal help at all. It's up to that parent from then on. So I did not receive any more psychiatry treatments or therapy or any of that after I got out of foster care. So literally from 16, the day after 16 till now, it's literally been just me crying out to God for help. Like literally, that's about it. Like to be honest, I haven't really sought anybody recently or since I've been grown, for the simple fact, I don't know. I feel like I've handled it pretty well. Like, I mean, it's still a lot of stuff that no one on the face of this earth knows but God. You know what I'm saying? That happened in my life, but I don't think I built up the courage to want to go back down that road. I think that's what's keeping me from actually seeking a therapist. Like, 'cause some of the stories that I'm not even gonna say stories, some of the experiences that I've had in foster care, like you don't even see in movies. You know, take Antoine Fisher, The Blind Side, and it was a book. I can't remember the author, but it was a book called A Child Called It. Mm-hmm. And you take all three of those stories and blend them together, and you have a fraction of what I went through. Wow. That's why when The Blind Side first came out, I was actually with one of my foster families that was the mother was thinking about adopting me, but me and the dad didn't click because he had anger issues and then I had anger issues. So we that's why that family didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? But when The Blind Side first came out and I saw it, the very beginning started off, a lot of his attributes is a lot of attributes that I had. You know, the waiting till everybody sleep and calm and relax to grab my few little things. I always kept it small because the lighter the pack, the further you could go. That's what I used to always say. So the even if it got to the point to where when I did find a good family, I didn't know how to act because of the fact all the problematic families that I had. So it's like when somebody did try to take me in and treat me good, I didn't know how to act. So I would cause trouble or drama, or I would just run. I would literally that was my skilo. That was my lifeline. I would wait till they go to sleep at night, make sure everything all good and fine and dandy. Wait till everybody go to sleep nice and peaceful. Learn their schedules when they get up to use the bathroom, whatever, to where I can make my escape. And it was an escape for me, but it really was an escape because like till this day it still haunts me because it's at least two families that I know I hurt because of the simple fact I ran and all they wanted to do was love me. But I was so used to it starting off as love and niceness, and then once everything get comfortable and calm down and social workers not come and check as often and stuff like that, people's true colors come out. And that's when all the abuse and stuff would start happening and all this because they were comfortable. I was no longer new. I was no longer having everyday social worker come into the house to check. It was maybe a once a month or once a every other month type of thing. So therefore, if I got beat, they had time to pat my wounds up and get them to heal quick before the next visit. And if I had a mark, then it wasn't big enough to where it was go scream alert to my social worker to where they could say, make me, I ain't gonna lie, that's how I knew I was supposed to be an actor from birth because I was being coached from birth. Because of the fact they knew they were abusing me, they would literally tell me because by law, the social worker would have to call before they came. And by her knowing that he was coming, I'll never forget him, Joe Damians. That was my social worker name. He's not a social worker any longer because I kept up with him, but he was my social worker in Louisiana for all 12 years out here before I got shipped to another state. But it was back and forth, so it was him and other ones. But he would come so they wouldn't really do anything. But once he slacked up, that's when all abuse would start, and then they would patch it up that way. When they did come, he fell, but they would coach me on what to say. Literally, tell me exactly what to say. They go ask you this, and you better say this. And if you don't, I'm gonna break all your jaw when they leave. You know, like that's the energy it was. And over time, it became a part of me. They didn't have to drill me. I automatically knew, no, nothing happened. Oh, I failed. The marks on my back. Yeah, I got in a fight and a kid, he picked up a stick and was beating me with it because I lost. I lost the fight or whatever it may have been. You know what I'm saying? But as far as that particular question, that's why for that.
Okay. Okay.
I am so proud of you being able to come on here because when I hear you say, that you have so much more to you have so much more to go. Anytime a grown man can get on the TV and tell everyone that he was molested. Men don't tell people that. That's a woman's thing. Men don't tell people that. So for you to get on Winding Down and say that you were molested at a younger age, I commend you for that. There's nothing wrong with seeking out counseling, even though you're an adult.
It's partially that, but for the longest, all my this was a way of the dad. Now this is the dad. This was the way of him toughening me up. So I don't know if they even say this was abuse, but I don't know. But like it started off because of the fact the foster home I was in, it was six foster girls, six foster daughters, like girls my age. And it was me and one other boy, and he was younger than me. You know what I'm saying? So by him having the issues he had, he always stuck to himself. He was always quiet. Only time he wasn't quiet was when he was having his tantrum. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I've always been the type to be sociable. I used to love being with people. I just love people. I didn't care who it was, what they looked like. I just loved people. You know what I'm saying? And by me taking to the girls because they were always more active, I started picking up a lot of tendencies. I started liking nothing but girl movies, like, you know, Aladdin and the Little Mermaid and all that. You know what I'm saying? They considered that female tendencies. I started singing female songs, Britney Spears and all that type of stuff. Stuff that the typical man doesn't do. Well, the typical boy doesn't do. So their cure for that was to take me, put me on the football team, because the dad and the coach, because their biological son was the star of the family, literally, and the star of that part of town. It was in Westminster, on Westminster Boulevard. I'll never forget that street, but he was the star. I'm talking any ball, any sport, he was a dog in it. And you know what I'm saying? They took me and put me on the team he started on, and he told the coach, don't tell him don't block. Once I felt all them boys with pads on knock me on my behind over and over and over, and nobody would block, I started getting a little strong and picking up, like, look, I'm tired of y'all hitting me now. You know what I'm saying? And the whole time it was to make me stronger. That was his way of breaking me out of something that I had no control over being into. It wasn't my fault I was put in a foster home with mostly girls. So, I mean, what you expect me to do? You never took me out to throw football with me. You always would take your biological son and go parlay around town and brag that was your son. And, you know, he was the star. You know what I'm saying? So that was among one of the ways that I could kind of say it started. I wouldn't necessarily say that's abuse because of the fact that they did allow me to have pads on. I mean, it's football. But allowing them to continually just hit me. I mean, I know now a lot of men have a lot of different strategies for toughening up their sons, especially when it comes to little boys. So now to this day, I understand. But do I feel like it could have been a better way to do it or go about it? Of course. But that was his way of going about it. Now the what came along after that was a whole different ball game, because of the simple fact you could stop me from having female tendencies by putting me more and more boy and manly stuff. You know what I'm saying? But by me still having that it sounds funny me saying it, the bedwetting problem. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just so easily to stop that because of the fact they never stopped the abuse. So as long as the abuse was going, I continued to be afraid to eat, because around that time we were, you know, put on the newspaper on the floor, and you have to eat. And they were the type, whatever they put on your plate, oh, you better eat it all, or you ain't moving until it's all gone. I don't care if it get freezing cold. They gonna make you sit there and eat it all, whether you ask for it or not. I was in foster care. I was an orphan. I was a child of the system. So I was on 12 different pills, medications for different
And it's funny
symptoms.
that you say that. It's funny that you say that, because if you look at the bottom of the screen, you have a viewer. And a viewer is saying something to you. They're asking a question. What if counseling involved putting Michael on medication? Something you're about to talk about. Now you have a whole
Mhm.
new dependency. Is there something
Yeah.
else besides therapy? And that's what you were going to talk about. God.
Hmm.
Something
I'm
else
about to
besides
say literally, Jeezy. Well, literally, God was all I
Jesus
had to talk
Doctor
to
Forever.
besides
I think that's who it is. GC
therapy.
Doctor Forever. I think that's who that is. But we're gonna go ahead and answer
Okay.
it.
Okay.
You can comment in the comment box, or I can comment for you, however you would like to do it, sir.
Yeah. If you don't mind, you could do that for me.
Okay, so he
But
said something else too. There we go. Yes, it is. That's it.
hmm
Yes, he said yes. He's Doctor. He Doctor Forever, and God. So it's God's
literally,
Doctor Forever. 9 times out of 10, Jesus Doctor Forever. Okay.
and that brings me back to the story that I started, but I forgot to tell y'all the main part. Um, okay, so pretty much after the incident with the bathroom, and I had to get rushed to the hospital with the chemicals and everything. So boom, that next night I went back to the house, and because I went back to the house, I had to hear fussing the whole doped up. I still remember, because they had to dope me up and pump all that out of me and stuff like that, and like give me different fluids to because of the fume. They said the fumes did something to me, hazardous or whatever like that. But long story short, I made it back to the house, had to hear fussing the whole way back, doped up, go lay down in the bed, and they said, don't think this changes anything. You wet the bed, which they said the other word. You wet the bed, that's your behind. You know what I'm saying? So boom, fear instantly. All the stuff the doctors gave me, I felt no longer after they said that. I felt no longer. But that very night, I was scared to go to the bathroom, and I heard something in the house, and I thought that was them coming, to beat me or check on me or whatever like that. And I was the type to feel like if I got under my cover, that was my protection. Even though we all know anything could come through a little, thin sheet, but that was my protection. I would get under the cover and peek from under it, or I would lay real still, close my eyes, and like barely crack my eye open. In this particular instance, when I cracked my eye open, I tell you no word of lie. It's pitch, keep in mind, it's pitch black. When I tell you I saw this bright light, it looked like a human, but I saw no fingers, I saw no face, I saw no facial features, no nothing. Keep in mind my eyes is barely squinted, you know what I'm saying? And I'm looking like, cause I'm hearing footsteps, but all I see is like right next to me on the bed. I'm curled up, you know what I'm saying, under the cover, like barely peeping. And I see this bright, bright, bright light sitting next to me. I didn't know it was an angel at that time. I just felt like, holy crap, what is this by me? So I went from squinting to just closing my eyes and just, please be gone, please be gone, please be gone, please be gone. And then when I wind up cracking my eye again, the light was gone. It was gone. So I opened them all the way and then hurry up and like, looked around, and it was just gone. Now it might have just disappeared from my visual because it saw where I was afraid, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think, like, spiritually, I don't believe it left. I believe it still was there. But till this day, it still gives me chills, and I still find myself like getting under the cover and like peeping just to see if it'll ever come back. It never came back, but I'll never forget that moment. I believe I had an angel. Who it could have been, I don't know, because around that time I didn't know any real family members besides my sister, and she was still alive. I know the state had me believing that my biological dad was dead. My biological dad was dead all my life until I found my mom. Once I made 21, I found my little twin brothers again on through MySpace. That's before Facebook popped up. It was MySpace, and I found them through MySpace. And then that's when they said, "Have you ever?" I asked them, "Did they ever find Mama?" They said, "We see her all the time." And when I tell you the whole world, you know how in the movie, and when you see something good and they go, oh, like my whole world just lit up, and I was like, you serious? So you know mama? And it was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? When I tell you the next thing smoking, I was in Louisiana the very next day, you know what I'm saying, to meet up with my little brothers. But that weekend, I still didn't get to meet her. But I got to spend time with my little brothers. I didn't get to meet her because I had to come back. I had to come back because I was a manager at the Dollar General in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? And an emergency happened at the store, so they called me, and so I had to get back all the way back to Mississippi. So, long story short, I didn't get to meet my mom on the first trip. You know what I'm saying? But it was a good feeling to know that it was coming.
Did you get to meet
You know
her?
what I'm saying? Yes, yes, I did get to
What
meet her. I
happened?
got to meet her the following month. I had open audition actually to I heard the radio station say, "Do you want to be on the Disney Channel? Call this number." Whoopty whoopty whoop. And me calling it, I'm like, man, I'm about to be on Disney Channel. That's my show. Literally, I used to beat it home to watch the Disney Channel. That was my stuff. And I said, who I was gonna be the next Walt Disney star ever. Corbin Blue was my little idol around that time, off of Disney with the puffy hair and off of jumping. You know, he could do it all. You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, I got the role of Corbin Blue in High School Musical for my school around that time too. So that's what really started inspiring me to sing and dance. I always was dancing because Michael Jackson and Chris Brown was my favorites. And it started off with Usher, then it went to Michael Jackson and Chris Brown. But yeah, like I know I'm jumping back and forth because
That's fine. We right with you. We
I'm
are
trying
right.
to
We
remember.
are right with you, and you are on your pace, and your pace is great. We are right with you. You have not lost our attention at all, and we understand the story, and we understand the enthusiasm, and we love it. So I want to know about the mother, because at the beginning of the story, you said that
Mhm,
I didn't even know how my mother smelled.
right.
See, that's a profound thing to say.
According,
People understand the connection of a child and a mother. The connection of a child and a mother is so delicate that when you have a baby and the baby is outside of the womb, yet a baby can't talk, a baby can hear his mother's voice and will move his neck to her direction to see where she is. Or if she's too far out of the room and he can't smell her or she can't smell her, the crying will begin because he can't
mhm,
smell his mother.
to grab her
You
attention.
are an adult man and you said I hadn't even smelled my mother. That's
Right.
profound for me to hear you say that, because see, I'm a mother and I've been through some things in my life myself, and I have children. So to hear you say that, the wetting of the bed and all of those things, I mean, just to hear you say that, I want to know what it was like when you finally got to see this lady that you had no visual of. Did you remember what she looked like?
No, I didn't. For the simple fact, my social worker, he did keep me in the loop with that. He said that when I was a baby, that they gave my mom temporary rights to visitation. And I do remember one time going to McDonald's. He said they used to take me to McDonald's to meet up with it. It had to be a public place. And they would take me to McDonald's. I'm just repeating what he told me. I don't remember none of this. This is just what he told me. I remember when he told me, I do remember McDonald's, but I don't remember anything past that. I
Mm-hmm.
just know what he told me. He said I would go on visits. Me and my sister would go on visits to McDonald's, and our mom would get to see us and spend time with us. But after a certain age, those rights got taken completely away because of something that was going on her end, like to where they said she had lost all her rights. So from that point on, it was no more visits. But I mean, around that time, I was so small, I don't remember any of that anyway. I just remember, I was a kid. I remember McDonald's and Happy Meals. That's, I mean, so that's other than that. I mean, and when it's like once he started telling me that, I would literally stare in the mirror for hours. And like as I would grow, I would stare in the mirror for hours and be like, and just make different faces and be like, I wonder if she looked like me. I mean, if I look like her, or if I look like my dad, or am I a spit image of both combined? Playing guessing games with myself. You know what I'm saying? And at night, I would literally just stare at the roof because other than brainstorming on how my mom looked, smelled, for some reason, it was always my mom. I always would try to brainstorm on how she looked, sounded, and smelled and stuff like that. But I guess by the state telling me my biological dad was dead, it kind of just left me. It made me feel like, well, I didn't know him. And I mean, it's not like I can meet him because he's dead. So it kind of left me quicker than my mom by me knowing that they told me she's still on this earth and still here. That's where my aim went to. I stopped worrying about, trying to find my dad or whatever like that once I got older because they told me he was dead until I found my real mom. Now I'm going to get to the part to where you wanted to know. So the weekend came for me to meet her. I'm talking going to first school, not knowing nobody type of nervous. You know what I'm saying? Knowing I'm fresh, I'm talking, I got barbered up and everything. Now, I cut my own hair now, but I went to the barber for this. I'm talking fresh, clean teeth, fresh G's and everything. I brushed my teeth for about 2 hours that day. I was so nervous and so happy at the same time because I didn't know what to expect. All I know was the hunt was over. And that was like a chip off my shoulder. So boom, we get there. I'm sitting in a car and my little brother, he said, you see that apartment door right up there? Right there in the corner? I was like, the pink one? He said, yeah. He said, that's mama apartment. And I was like, okay, go get her. I ain't getting out first. I was nervous. I ain't getting out first. So he ran up there, he went and got her, and it's like when she came out, I couldn't help it. Like the waterworks, I ain't even get out the car yet. I just started crying and I ain't even get out the car yet. So it was like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even refer back to me trying to think of how she looked and smelled, none of that. I was just like, that's her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my mom right there. That's the woman who pushed me out. You know what I'm saying? And it's like when I got out the car, it's like I went from 0 to 100. I tell you, I made it up them stairs in like 3 steps, and that was a lot of stairs. I got up them steps quick. You know what I'm saying? But it's like because it was, you go up these 2 sides of the steps, and you got apartments all at the bottom going in a U shape, and then you go upstairs, and there's more apartments going in a U shape. And she was at the top of the U shape in this corner. And, later on, I found out that the whole freaking complex was family. Mama was right here, uncle over here, cousin down there, brother over here. So it was like, when I finally walked up to her, like, she just started crying and I was crying. And a lot of people be like, did you ever ask her why? And I'm going to be honest, I didn't. And a lot of people and a lot of children say this, and I know this for a fact because I was one of them. Growing up, the first thing you scream is, if I ever run into him or meet him, I want to know why. I want to know, look at me. What was so wrong with me that you couldn't come get me or find me? Why did I have to go through everything that I went through and you got all your other kids still with you? You know what I'm saying? Why was me and my sister the only 2 taken away from me? Why didn't y'all come get us? Why did y'all let them people beat me like that? You know what I'm saying? That's what I was really saying the whole time growing up. And I'll be saying that to myself and then go to crying like, man, I want my mama, it's like I'll be mad and then I'll want them at the same time. So it's like when I first saw, all of that just disappeared. Like that was nowhere in my mind. All I knew was the hunt was over. I hugged her so tight, she had to ease up, son, ease up. Mama not that young no more. I squeezed her that tight. And I'll never forget it. She introduced me to her boyfriend. They was living together at the time when I first found her. And like when I tell you, she called everybody. Buku people started popping up, and I'm talking about 30 minutes. The whole complex was full. I'm talking on the balcony, down neat. They threw a last second party that quick, and every single person, boy, you look just like your daddy. Boy, you look just like your daddy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm hate that he died before I got to meet him. And that's when the truth came out and said, died. And then mama looked at me and said, boy, your daddy right there in Jackson. I said, Jackson, Mississippi? She said, yeah. I said, I just left college from there. I said, so you mean to tell me I could have been passing my part the whole time and not even know it was him? She said, oh, no. You would have knew it was him because you look just like him. I just started laughing. But that was it as far as speaking of him. It went from that to I miss you, we've been looking for you, you know what I'm saying, and this and that, and just she stared at me for like the first 2 hours and didn't say nothing, you know what I'm saying, just crying and staring. And I never forget it because I cooked for him. I told her, I said, yeah, your son know how to cook too. And I cooked them pork chops, mashed potatoes, and green beans. I never forget it. And they don't need, and her boyfriend didn't even eat pork chops, but he ate it that night. He said, "But I don't even eat pork chops, but that was good." But I believe, now that I think about it, I believe every single person I met in my family, I went around and cooked for all of them. I cooked spaghettis and meatballs for my brother and his family. When I met them, I cooked the pork chops for my mom and her boyfriend. My sister and them, I made gumbo. I was just happy. I was just happy. And then when it was like, you got a lot more brothers and sisters, they just scattered all over, because they older and grown. I was like, call them. Where they at? They was like, no, they like scattered. Like, I'm talking states away. I was like, oh, okay, give me their address. I'll go to them. I've been moving all over anyway. I was that excited. I was just blowing smoke, but I was excited, but yeah, all the excitement that kind of ended the next day though. It was a real eye opener, and that's where it comes into play when I said that I had realized really quick the saying, you know what I'm saying, everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the next day when I went, when I went to go see her, the first day was excitement. Now the second day, I feel like it's my actually official day, full day with you. You know what I'm saying? To spend with my mother and whoever else comes. But unfortunately, when I got there, I guess I picked the wrong timing or something. I got the door slammed in my face, and it hurt. And but by me going through everything that I went through in foster care, and then like that happened from you, the person I would have never expected that to happen to, because still to this day, I ain't gonna even lie to you. I'm gonna keep it 100. Still to this day, I still say the same thing. I was one of the only kids you had that's been away from you since birth. And now I'm getting the same treatment from the person who spit me out that I was getting from the strangers that the state was throwing me with. And that made me want to be like, okay, well, I didn't ask why for the first part, but now it's got me want to ask why. I've been going out your life for 21 plus years. Why am I getting treated like an outcast now? You know what I'm saying? You was just happy yesterday. And then I thought about it, and then I was like, well, maybe that's where I got the bipolarness from. Maybe that's where the state got it from.
Wow.
Saying that I was bipolar because maybe she bipolar. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't think nothing of it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. You know, because I still had some excitement in my heart. You gotta think, I just met her the day before, after 20 something years. So I give it a breeze. You know what I'm saying? I go and mingle with the rest of the, you know, my brothers and sisters that I had met at the time. You know, kick it with them the day. Boom. Next day, come back. This time I could hear it inside, but no answer. And last I checked, I'm heavy-handed. So I know you heard me knocking at that door. Cause just like I'm talking to y'all and y'all could hear me, I could hear her right behind the door. So when neighbors don't know, I'm not Trey Songz. The neighbors don't know my name. I'm still new around these parts. I didn't know what Gretna was. You know what I'm saying? All I know was I had really planned, because you got to keep in mind, I still was living in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? Without any of them, I had, you know, after graduation, I wound up getting my stuff together. Once I had my son, I wound up getting, you know, 2-3 jobs. I had my own apartment. I had a car. I was doing good, real good. And by me leaving all that behind to come and meet you, and then now this is how I'm getting treated. Like it's another heartbreak on top of a heartbreak, as you could kind of say. So don't get me wrong, the love has never left, because at the end of the day, the words say honor your mother and the father and love your neighbor. I love everybody. She's still my mother. I still love her to death, as if she just pushed me out. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I have to keep it a buck with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I have to be honest. It didn't play out the way I expected it. You know what I'm saying? I was expecting welcome, open arms, and now that you back, let me make up for lost time. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what's going on in your life that I can contribute to, that I could support you in, or that I could, you know, be a part of. I can't get a phone call.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But to see you go and support my brothers and sisters that didn't go into foster care, to see you roll past my house, my apartment. Yeah, I came, found y'all, left a whole state, left everything behind, came out here with nothing, and still managed to land on my feet. A week after moving to Louisiana, I got a job. Just to show y'all, look, I didn't come find y'all for a handout. You know what I'm saying? I came found y'all because y'all my family. And nobody should live their life without knowing who their family is. You might not want to be with them, but at least know who they are.
Let me say that.
Right.
You might not want to be with them, huh?
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it hurts. I ain't gonna lie, it hurts. Like and to know that I've met and been blessed to meet a bunch of strangers in this profession, in the acting field, and through some of my local jobs that I've done or whatever, I've met some genuine people. And this, to get the love and support from, you know, y'all and other supporters and followers and friends that I've met over time, like it makes me feel, at least it fills that void. It makes me feel, okay, you in all these years, you know what I'm saying, aiming for a specific goal. You reach that goal, and now it's not the celebration that you were hoping for. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a letdown, but it's also an eye opener. You know what I'm saying? The word also says, "Seek and ye shall find." I went seeking, and Lord behold, I found. So It wasn't a Cinderella ending, I could say that. Or a beginning for that. Well, it was a Cinderella beginning, but it wasn't a Cinderella ending yet. Because I feel like no matter the circumstance or no matter what's going on, like I just made a video about it on TikTok, everything is temporary. Nothing is permanent. You know what I'm saying? The hurt that I had, yes, it lasted for years, but years can even be temporary because now I know how to deal with it. So now it's no more hurt. Now it's just, okay, it is what it is. I love you, yes, but now I know I'm grown. At the end of the day, I'm still a grown man. I still have my morals and goals that I have to live for myself and my life. You know what I'm saying? I got what I prayed for. I got what I was seeking. I wanted to meet y'all. I wanted to find y'all. Boom, I did that. The only thing I have yet to do is meet my dad, and because of what happened with meeting my mom, I've been procrastinating. I'm gonna just be honest. I've been procrastinating. I'm the type of person, I'm not scared of anything. I grew up with the country boys. Mississippi, Slidell, Covington, you name it. I was jumping off of bridges into canals, skipping school, wrestling with gators, hogs. I mean, I had horses, for crying out loud. I was in a full Jordan basketball outfit on a big old horse with Jordan shoes on. So, I mean, I don't know. It's like I got my reward through the struggle, you know, and one day I'll build up the confidence to go find my dad. But
for sure,
it still gets to me because I still have yet to even know, okay, the state let me, you know, at least see my mom temporarily when I was small, you know what I'm saying, before her rights got taken away. I know no information on my dad. None. I don't know if he didn't come get me or find me because his rights got taken away or because he just didn't want to, or I don't know. A lot of I sit back and listen to a lot of people. I'm talking thousands of people who've had both parents, all their siblings, a roof over their head, still complain. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, it was, I used to find it funny because when they came to me, man, my parents beat me, man. And I'd be like, how they beat you? They'd be like, man, she told my up with that belt. Now I'd be like, with a belt? Try a 6x4 with a nail in it, just bent over. Try a curtain rod, getting fresh out the tub. You know what I'm saying? Try having a bedwetting problem and they make you put on a grown-up diaper and stand in front of the garage outside and lock you outside to where everybody at your school is coming to that garage to buy candy. And how did they get that candy shop? With the money the state gave them to keep me. I was so problematic, according to the state. They was paying this family, I'm talking an arm and a leg, that they turned their garage into a candy shop. They turned their hoopty into a brand new Cadillac. And I got locked outside in front of that same candy shop where all my friends and peers from school was coming to buy candy and snacks and stuff. And I was stuck out there butt naked in a freaking grown-up diaper that the old people wear. You know how embarrassing that was? And then had to turn around and go to school the next day. Wound up running away because I couldn't take the humiliation. I'm talking the entire school. Kids bringing diapers to school, screaming my name, dangling. I ran away. What else was I supposed to do? I'm a child. What child is supposed to sit there and take that? And then go home to where you're supposed to feel safe and get where it all started? I ran away for the police to pick me up 3 miles down the road in a park, sleeping on a park bench to bring me right back just to get beat from running away. It's
Well, Michael, you definitely got a testimony, man, and you don't look like what you've been through. And there's so much more to come for you. There's a lot more greatness that's gonna come for you. Because you definitely have a story to tell, and I'm looking forward to the TV series, The Journey of Michael Edwards, and we'll definitely working on that 2022, and I'm looking forward to building with you, helping you empower others as you empower yourself, and helping you to grow your legacy and conquer all.
Absolutely, absolutely. And again, um, I have, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say except for thank you for bringing this to the table, bring this to Winding Down. You are um, the first profound, honest, completely rigorously honest person has been on here. And I thank you for that. And I appreciate you for that. And I'm sorry that your mother missed out on an awesome individual that she birthed. But I myself am welcoming you into my family over here at the Winding Down show. So you got a family over here. You got a family
And
I
here.
appreciate it.
I I I,
and
I am a
and my,
mother of many, many mothers. I am. I don't know how old you are. You can't be. You said early. You said what? 90s.
Yeah, I made 31 in September.
Okay, my oldest son is just a couple years younger than you, so I'm old enough to be your mom.
so Mike, man, 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 I'm always your big broski, so you know what it is, man,
Right,
and
he would never say father because he don't want to get old.
You don't want to feel old.
Mike,
He would never say that, but
so
I'm
you
definitely welcoming you. I'm
so you
welcoming
know how I
you
go,
in my
man.
family. Yeah.
I've always kept it real with you, man, and
Always.
we have our little squabble, where we go back and forth, but it's all
Hey, that's
it's all
love,
love,
baby.
man.
That's love.
It's love,
That's
it's
family.
love, yeah, it's love, man. So, but
That's
I
family.
just want to thank you for coming on and sharing your story, man, and we definitely gonna do a part two soon, because we
I
definitely
thank
got to
y'all
get
for
into
having
some.
me.
Yeah, we definitely
I
got to
thank
get
y'all
into
for
some other
having me.
things because
But
we're
you're
gonna
gonna
have to
get to
get
the point where
into.
we're gonna elevate because people in situations like you, Tiffany Haddish, similar.
Right,
I
right.
don't
So we
know.
got
I don't know how similar, but I mean, I know she was in a situation like that. So look at
mhm,
her now, and you speak things into your life as if they were already
right,
found. Already think speak things as if they were already so. And thoughts create reality. So make that
right.
your reality. Speak it. You got something going on in 2022. Tell them to watch your movie, and then next thing you know, it's gonna happen.
That's right. That's right.
That's
So,
right. Hey,
so we
hey,
definitely gonna
I'm
do.
looking. I'm looking for big things. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
not moving. Like, I mean, I'm not stopping. I'm constantly moving. You know what I'm saying? So
And he'll pop back
I'm
up,
about whatever.
just like that story in the Bible when they gave him away and he was a child. I'm not for sure the name of the character in the Bible at this moment, but it's the same story. And his brothers came back to him, and they
Yeah,
didn't even know he was
you
doing.
talking. That was one. That's one of my favorites. That you talking about Daniel.
Daniel,
They
Daniel,
got mad because the dad gave them the coat of many colors,
yes, and
Right. Right.
they
and
took him
they
out there
sold
in the
them.
field, beat him, jumped him, and the stuff left him out there, and
And then
all
in the
that. He
end,
became a
but
king.
I love what happened. In the end, he became king.
He
God
became
used
a
them,
king, and when they came and
and
they
they
needed
had to
him,
go to him.
they needed food. Their people were starving, and all these things, and they didn't even recognize him. But he
Yeah,
knew
and
every. He knew
just like
all.
Moses was given away. And look
Yep.
who Moses became.
Look who Moses became.
Yep.
But everybody who was treated bad,
Right. Right.
everybody who gets treated bad
Hey,
at the end.
but I honestly, to this day, now that I'm grown and more mature, I see why. No successful person has been successful without the struggle.
Or something.
Literally.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
And
And it's
if
always,
anybody, if any, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
if you look at it, when it's always when people do that, when they treat you bad, just watch, just hold on. Just hold on. And that goes even for those who do me. Just wait. Just sit back. Just keep holding on. Because
And
it's
that's
just
what I learned.
it
I
happens.
love I love that strategy now because then I didn't know. Then by me being young, being so confused, being abused, not knowing where I'm gonna eat, sleep, or none of that, I was confused. So I didn't have the intelligence. I'm not gonna lie, I was ignorant. I was wilding. I was a
That's
street
okay.
rat. I was a rabbit. But
That's
now
okay.
that I'm more mature, I can understand why now. You
You're able to
know,
slow
so
yourself down. You know when to slow yourself down. You can feel yourself getting there.
Right.
right,
You know when to pump your brakes. You know when to separate yourself amongst the flock. You know when to be by
right,
yourself. You know when to think. You know when to, and that comes with age. That's called learning. That's a learned skill. That's not just a baby wilds out. You can hold a baby. When you hold a baby, they fall all out, fall back.
yeah,
They act crazy.
yeah,
You have to hold them. That's because they don't know. They're acting on
mhm,
emotions. When you get your irrational emotions lined up with your rational thinking, you're able to control an irrational situation.
Mm.
But babies aren't able to do that because they don't have that. They don't have that mind state to say, "Oh, I feel crazy right now," or "Oh, I don't like this person." A baby
right.
doesn't have to tell you why. Touch them. You ever seen that? You hold a baby and somebody go to touch them, they just start screaming, and you be like, "Whoa, what's the matter?" That's because
Mm-hmm.
he's
And
acting
as
on
soon
his
as you move, they stop.
right. He's just acting on his emotion. He just don't like
Right.
him. He don't got to tell us why. He just don't want him to touch him or her. It's women too. Sometimes they just act crazy. So if we actually go back to who we were as children and babies and act on how we were built to act off of emotion after how we feel, but utilize our mature thinking. The Bible says when you're a child, you act like a child, but when you grow up,
That's
you
right.
no longer need milk.
Put childish things away. That's
Put
right.
your childish things
Mm-hmm.
away
Mm-hmm.
because you learn by what? Seeing. And seeing comes by what? And learning
Doing.
comes by hearing. So once you do all
Doing.
those things, you're able to do what? Put your rational thinking together with your irrational emotions. Stop, stop moving, and let it play itself out. Because we feel some type of way doesn't get to mean you get to act how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because the world would be crazy if people just did that. Can you
Right.
imagine? If people just acted how they felt, if I just acted how I felt today, at about, I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious at about 12:45. If I acted how I felt, who
Fix
knows?
it, Jesus. Fix it.
For real, who knows? I had to tell my sons, I have to tell my children sometimes, call me back in 24 hours when I'm rational. Because right now I ain't rational. Because I know how I feel. I'm not feeling rational right now. I feel like I'm about to say something that I'm gonna regret. And when I
Mhm.
say something that I'm gonna regret, and what I regret to my children, what I mean by that is I never talk to my children say, Mom, you're a lame. That's what they call me. So what I might regret, it might be something like no, when I really need to say yes to them at that time. That's something that they need a yes answer to. But I'm saying no just because you made me feel some type of way. I'm trying to show you, prove you a point, but it's not a time for me to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He really might need this. She really may need this. It might be for her
Mm-hmm.
business. It might, but because you acted a certain way, I'm trying to show you something. I don't get to always do that just because I'm a mother. I don't get to act like that.
Right.
That's the child. I'm not the child. They get to act like that. Oh, but one day. I'm waiting on that one day still. But I'm just saying, like, that what you got comes with age. And please notice everything that happened, like with Daniel, watch what's gonna happen. Watch what's gonna happen. Because I promise you, when you're one way, God will make your enemy your footstool. I'm only telling you this from experience. He'll
Mhm.
make your enemy your footstool. And then you won't even be knowing what's going on. You'll be like, what's wrong? What's going on here?
Oh yeah.
They'll be back. And I hope you didn't lose relationships with your brother and your brothers and your other relatives. You still talk to them.
Well, I talked to actually, unfortunately, one of the twins, the ones that was with us until they went to another home. One of them is actually paralyzed in the hospital. He's been like that for the longest before I even found him. And then the one who wasn't paralyzed, he just died a few months ago.
Ooh,
So I
sorry.
I just buried him. Um, so other than that, I still keep up with the other twin, the one that's in the hospital. I go see him every now and then, but they just moved him to New Iberia. So I told them once I get back up and rolling, I'll be over there to come see him.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because out the entire family, he'll call maybe once a week the check on me, or if he's not calling me, I'm calling him. But by him having the wounds that he have, they move him so often I can't really keep up with him because he uses the worker's phone.
Mm-hmm. Things are gonna change. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yes, most definitely. I believe I claim every day I wake up, Lord, I don't know what you got planned, but I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. And when I joke with him, I don't know
That's
about y'all.
supposed to.
I joke
But
with the
why
Lord
not?
because I feel like it shouldn't be religion. It's a relationship. You know what I'm
Amen.
saying? And I feel like when I talk to God, if he my father, you should be able to joke with your daddy. So I
Hey,
jokes with him. I be like, now when you
Mm.
open them doors to heaven, now don't give me too much, but let your son know a little something.
I want to
So
say something, and I'm probably going to be wrong for saying this, right? I'm probably going to be wrong for saying this. Do you know who you remind me of? Um, that movie, that guy that played in Crip, I think, where he's a huge actor. Um, he his son was going over a fence and he got shot in the back.
oh, you talking about? I know you're talking about Bobby with Bobby and Bobby Jr. He was stealing
Bobby
the
Johnson.
radio out the car.
Yeah, they was calling him Bobby
South
Johnson.
South Central.
So,
What's
yep,
that
that's
man
it.
name?
That's it.
What's that man name?
I don't know
Uh,
his real name. I know his name was Bobby in the movie.
In the movie Bobby Johnson.
what's his
But what
name?
is his
Yeah,
name?
yeah.
I don't. I
I
can't remember his real name.
I don't know his real name.
That's what
Yeah,
he
I
look
can't
like.
remember.
You look
I
like
ain't,
that. You look like you could be his son.
I ain't gonna lie. That's my first time hearing that. Usually, I get the Allstate guy or Idris Elba. I've had some casting directors tell me I remind them of Idris Elba, Tyrese off of Baby Boy, and the Allstate commercial guy. That's Allstate, Stan.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-uh. Nuh-uh.
but hey, all
Bobby
of them. I
Johnson.
even got called. I even got called Baby Wesley for Wesley Snipes. Hey, I love it. Hey,
Y'all, we're gonna have to cut. We went over the show. We over y'all. We over a whole 30 minutes. And we're gonna have to do a part two on you. But when we come back with a part two, we're gonna come back with a part two and we're gonna probably take it. We're gonna keep it continue. Like I said, you welcome to the family now. So you keep it continue, you keep in communication with us and
okay,
you talk to him all the time. But we're gonna bring you back probably around March so you can tell us about this other journey that you got going on so we can get the people out here to the red carpet.
okay.
And once you
I'm
do
just
that,
happy and blessed and favored that, I just know that I'm not doing it by myself.
absolutely.
Literally,
And the person
that's what
that
it
you
boiled
and
down to.
that person that was on here following Cheryl, after everything is said and done, they do the red carpet and everything. Because she is who she is, I would love to grant her the first interview because she is a radio
Wait,
host.
I didn't hear.
I would
Say that
love to
last
grant
part
her,
again.
I would love to grant her the first interview. That's
Oh,
if I'm the PR on your account.
hey, it's all love with me.
We're
Like I
gonna
said,
see.
it took me pretty much all my life up until I can honestly say when my son died, the ending of
Mhm.
last year, when my only son died. At 10, he got in an accident. When he died, that's when I just pretty much let all ties go, like of all anger, of all vengeance and everything. I literally started calling people that I know didn't like me. I started calling them and apologizing if I ever did anything or said anything, because for my only son, like, he was the reason I was doing all this. I was literally trying to make an empire to where if something happened to me, he'll have something to take over, to where he didn't have to work a 9 to 5 or worry about somebody telling them go take a break, or no, you can't go on vacation, you got to be at work and punch the clock. No, like, I was doing all this for him. And then when he died last year, it was I keep saying last year, earlier this year. I'm sorry. Um,
I'm sorry to
it
hear that.
just it's all good. It now that just made me push harder because of the things that I didn't do with him that I wanted to do. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I try my hardest not to be the ghost dad, like a lot of excuse me, like a lot of children unfortunately are going through.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of kids that don't have a male figure or their dad in their lives, and all I can do is send out my prayers to them, because I know what that feels like. Yeah, it's good to have mama all soft and lovey and never wrong in her eyes, but sometimes boys will grow up looking for somebody to be a little hard on them. You know what I'm saying? Because we want to be hard, so we look for that. You
and
know,
and
and
and it's destined for, it's put together like that. A man is definitely, a woman can't do a man's job. I just can't say it enough, and I'm saying that to the world. A woman, we can step in and we can be strong and take care of our family and work really hard and provide, but we cannot be a man and show a man how to be a man, because we are men, and that's just the bottom line. And I mean, that's just how that's facts. And I know I hear a lot
Mhm.
of women say, "I'm the daddy and the mama." No, you the mama, and that's it.
Right,
That's all you can ever be, is the
right.
mama. So, you know, it's a role for everybody, and it's a role for a father too. But if he's not in the home and the mother has to step up, I do commend her for taking on, the extra weight, because that's what it
Right,
is. It's not you
right.
playing
It
his
really is.
role; it's weight. You doing his part.
Trust me.
He should be there
And
doing.
they meant what they said when they said take a village to raise a child.
I do know that. I do know that, and that's definitely true. And how do we know that that's true? Because I have had that. Like I said, I'm not that old. I'm not that old, so my children have been raised by villages, grandmothers, uncles, aunties, cousins, best
Don't they
friends,
come in handy though?
everything. Daddies, they daddies were there. I mean, everybody had to put a hand in it, because it was what it was. And they are remarkable, and I commend them every time I get an opportunity to, and brag about them every time I get an opportunity to. You know, it takes a village, because it just does. It just does. And a village doesn't necessarily mean auntie, cousins, nephews. It could be the next door neighbor that you've been living next door to
Exactly. I was
for
about to
20
say that.
years.
Hmm.
It could be the teacher at the school who's taken amongst a job that You know, she picking your baby up for you every morning. You know,
And
it's really.
that's who it was. That's who it was for me. When it came to me, it was literally the school faculty. All the schools that I would go to, for some reason, all the older ladies would take to me. You know, so I was always good with them. So it came being in foster care. It came natural. I started calling everybody. I said, I ain't cutting no more. I started calling everybody mama and daddy. I ain't lying. Look,
Yeah.
if you nice to me and you show me love, you mama. That's all to it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's just how it was. And like I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't too much into calling just random men daddy. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because
It
by
was
me
hard.
being a boy want his daddy. But the
Mm-hmm.
women, you know what I'm saying?
Hey,
By
mama.
me knowing that my mama was still out there, I knew they wasn't really my mama. But by them taking care of me for that time period, they was mama in my eyesight.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get me wrong now. They had some perks to being in foster care now. I ain't gonna lie, cause oh, them girls go crazy when I used to hit them with, yeah, I'm an orphan. They'll be like, oh, I'll be like, yeah, I know how to get
You
them
know
now.
what? I'm finna go. We out of here tonight. We out of here. We're done. We will talk to you later. We'll do a number 2. We got something coming up in 2022. You guys check him out. We have Michael Edwards on the Winding Down show, late night conversation. And we winding down. Talk to you guys soon.